Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create these cute little ice skates with a touch of ink blending. So to start with, I'm going to be using this fabulous new winter ice skate die set from Altenew. And the first piece that I'm going to cut out, which is like kind of the base of the boot, which everything is going to layer up onto, I'm just going to cut out some white cardstock. This is Classic Crest Solar White. And then everything else, I'm going to also cut that out of Classic Crest Solar White. But I am going to add some of the double-sided adhesive from Altenew on the back of that first, before cutting everything out, so that in theory it makes everything else like little stickers. So that is how I'm doing it. I did kind of change things up later on, and that kind of little ice skate image, the actual metal part, we are going to be changing that up later on. And I do in fact cut many of these pieces out again, barring the floral pieces, so we can create a second boot, because we are going to need 2 ice skates on this card. So for the base of the images, so this is the one without the double-sided adhesive on the back, I am going to add color to this one. I am using the water hyacinth, but when I was doing it, I decided I wanted a darker one. So I've gone in with the alpine aster, and I just need this mostly around the top part and also the left hand edge. So I'm just using a small blending tool to add that in there. And I'm going to do that for the 2 images that I have. And then I have the kind of upper part of the boot, or the second part of the boot. And I am going to be using the water hyacinth on this one. And I'm trying to add more of the ink around the left hand and the right hand edge, and the bottom. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shading with the alpine aster too. Again, I would do exactly the same for the other boot as well. So once that has been done, we can move that off, and you can see that they're going to layer off to the side. This is when I kind of went a little bit off-piste and decided to cut this kind of metal skate bit out of the brushed silver cardstock. You are going to need to cut 2 of these for the 2 boots that you do require. At the minute, I'm just going to do 1, but you can see exactly the same way as how I'm going to do the second one. So I have some double-sided adhesive on the back of that, and then we're just going to cut the skate from that. So we're going to have that really cool kind of real metal look when we add this on to the ice skate. It's really cool, and it's kind of the perfect finish, this brushed silver, for that ice skate. So for the little kind of laces that we have here, I was gonna ink blend them, but then I decided not to. So I'm just gonna keep those as white at the top. For the little flower centers, so these are the smaller pieces, I am going to be using some chamomile ink to add over those. And then we're going to add the little heel pieces in. You're going to need some more heel pieces as well as the laces for your second boot. So this is mocha that I'm using on the largest of the heel piece. And then we have like the little triangle shadow piece for the heel. And I'm just going to use some espresso for that. So I'm then going to remove these smaller images that we have. These are the smaller flowers. And I'm going to be using the very pretty volcano lake for those. Once that has been done, I'm then going to move on to the larger flower. So the smaller piece, I am going to use the pink diamond ink. So I'm just going to add some ink to that one. And then for the larger piece of the largest flower, I'm going to go in with the Pinkalicious. I'm trying to add more of that ink to the center to give that gradient effect there. I'm then going to go into the leaves. So I'm going to go on to the branch leaves first. So we have like branch leaves here, and then we also have some singular smaller leaves at the top. I'm going to start off with the jade, and I am using a mini blending tool to add the ink here. Again, I'm trying to add more of that ink along the base of the leaves, or the stem, on this one to add that gradient effect. I then added a little bit of eucalyptus just to add a bit more of a shadow and interest to those leaf branches. So once that has been done, I can then add in the little color to the little leaves. And I'm just going to be using the eucalyptus for this one, adding more of the ink to the one corner and less to the tip. We can then go ahead and pop our little skates together. So I'm going to pop on the first layer, and you can see just how well that lines up. It does line up with the right hand side. We're then going to pop on the little skate piece that we have here, and this is just going to line up perfectly with the bottom edge, and I just love how shiny that looks. It just looks perfect. And then going to pop in the little kind of heel that we have. For this, I'm just going to pop in the largest piece first because I find that's easier to pop on, and then I'm going to add the little shadow piece just on the left hand edge here to add that little kind of 3D look to the heel that we have going on. Once that has been done, we can then move ahead to the little laces. If you wanted to color these in, you can definitely. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up. And because we have that double-sided adhesive on, I didn't want this to stick anywhere else. So I'm just going to add a little bit of talc to the back of the piece that hasn't been stuck down to the cardstock. And that's just going to get rid of any of the sticky that we have. We can then add in the two little lace pieces, trying to evenly space those out. Once that's done, we can then move ahead to kind of assembling these flowers. So I'm going to add one piece on top of the other for the largest flower. I then going to go in with the terracotta, and I'm just going to add this onto that largest flower center. Now I did add the flower centers to the flowers, and I layered two of the flower centers on the largest flower, but I didn't manage to film that. I'm not sure what went wrong, but as you can see, those little flowers now have flower centers on them. Once that has been done, we can then go ahead and play around with how you want these flowers to sit on your boot. Now, you could also create boots without any flowers on them whatsoever. If you just wanted to use the leaves to give them a more masculine feel, you could definitely do that as well. But it's completely up to you how you play around with adding these fun little elements. These little floral elements would also make a fabulous little card by themselves, and they would work perfectly for little gift tags as well. So once I've kind of placed that largest flower in position, I'm then going to go ahead and add in the smaller flowers. I do find that it is always helpful for me to add the largest piece in while I kind of play around with the smaller pieces around the largest element. So that's why I've done that. Then when you're kind of happy with how things are going, then you can kind of start sticking things down. You don't necessarily need to take the backing off to start with. That's completely up to you. When you feel comfortable with how things are looking, you can then go ahead and start removing those backings and then placing things down firmly. So you can see that we have our really cute boot there, and then the one that we have created exactly the same as the other, but leaving out those floral elements. So then we have two beautiful boots. I'm then going to adhere these boots together. To add a little bit more dimension, I'm just going to add some of the instant dimension foam tape from Altenew just between the boots and then pop those together. For the background, I'm going to be using the Stellar Cascade 3D embossing folder, and I'm just going to be using it on the side here because that's where I want those beautiful kind of, I don't know, snowflake bursts to be. So one in the top corner on the right and then one in the left bottom corner. Once I'd done that, I then decided I wanted to take 1/2 inch off. So I've taken 1/2 inch off the right hand side and also the bottom, and that's going to give me a beautiful like 1/4 inch around the outside edge on my card base when I choose to pop this on, and it's going to go onto a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. To give it a more of a fun feel, I wanted to look like these boots were actually hanging up. So I just have a piece of twine from my stash. I don't know how long I've had this twine, but it's been there and it's been waiting to be used. So I thought I'd give it a little bit of love. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding that behind the boots and just adding some of the instant dimension foam tape on top to make sure that nothing moves around. I'm then going to add some more instant dimension foam tape behind the boots as well. I'm going to add a sentiment, a really cute, kind of basic sentiment from the Linear Life poinsettias. And I'm using the Indigo Skies ink to add that into place. I wanted to give it a more softer feel than using a black like I normally do. So that's why I've gone in with a navy colour this time around. I'm then going to remove all of the backing from the foam tape that we have on the boots. And then we can pop that into position. Once that has been done, we need to secure this string or twine at the back. To do this, I'm just going to pop it into place where I want it to be, and I'm going to add some foam tape through that loop and just pop that into position, and that's going to stop it moving. Once that has been done, I've then added some more of that instant dimension foam tape all the way on the back of the panel, and we're then going to add this onto our card base. The card base is 4¼ by 5½, and it has been made with the classic Crest Solar White cardstock. So I'm just going to pop that into place, making sure that there's a beautiful edge around the outside. And here is the card complete. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video, and I do hope that this has kind of inspired you to go and create a card today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll hopefully see you again very, very soon. And I hope that you get crafty today. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hey there, Lydia here. I really do hope that you've just enjoyed the video. If so, please subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you can get your daily dose of crafty techniques and tutorials just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.